Hey everyone, Dan here. We are just before market close on Monday, July 26th. We're going to take our daily look at CLOV. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. They should not be construed as investment or trading advice in any way. Do your own due diligence and make your own decisions based on your own information. All right, so CLOV having a bit of a green day today, up a little over 2%. We've seen this sort of like repetitive streak happening in the last several trading days. A few bumps up and then some big bumps down. The green days, as you can tell, have been more of a blip on the radar screen than anything else, resembling sort of a trend reversal. But that's, of course, what I have my eye on as we get through it. And apologies for the background noise. Traveling this week, if you were unaware, and we are in a confined space compared to my usual setup, and I'm doing the best I can. So if you hear some of it, just know we are going home tomorrow, so we'll be back in business. All right. But anyway, fairly low volume today. Also, just 17 million so far. We're not going to clock anywhere near that average for the 3 months, of course. And, peeling down a bunch of this buy volume that we saw sort of come in very strong here, but then the sell volume keeping pace, and then just a few stretches up over this downtrending blue line of volume, but mostly, as you see here, trending the down volume on red days. So just recently we've seen some volume downtrends on green days. All in all, it's a little bit hard to tell, to be honest, especially with the supposed interest from retail. If we flip over here to Swaggy, we see CLOV was in the top spot for a few days last week, and now it's still here, about 4% of the comment volume on Wall Street Bets, but obviously a bunch of tickers have moved up in front of it. Relatively positive sentiment on there, but it doesn't seem to be driving a ton of volume CLOV's way. So that's mostly still what I'm looking for in this one, is where's the volume going to come from and in what direction is that going to flow? It's getting to a price point, as you see my 708 down target there. It's getting to a price point where it feels pretty crazy to think that it would get much, much lower in any sustained way with this one. Also, I have these price targets to the upside just based on the business objectives and the vision and the competitive landscape. You can see my CLOV price targets video if you want to check out more on that. But let's take a look at the trend and the chart on the daily, and then we'll zoom in and do it on the 5-day, 5-minute to see if there's any shorter term trends unfolding as we get to it. With the indicators on the MACD side of things, we do see the bearish momentum, which is extensive. It goes all the way back here. It first blipped down to the radar screen on June 18th, so about, 6 weeks ago or so, and now is just finally starting to wear out. So let's hope, for the Clover bulls anyway, that this can sort of be the end of it, and that this most recent double, triple, quadruple-ish bottom day over day over day will hold and will give some propulsion to the upside. That's the first big thing I'm looking for there, is a nice bullish crossover, but we probably have a couple of days of green before we're really going to make it through to that. On the RSI side of things, still obviously very low, mostly interested in the midline here to see what it does when it approaches that. As you see back here, when it was dipping down to the midline and it was unable to hold it, it has just completely fallen apart since then. So it hasn't spent on the daily chart very much time at all in overbought territory, which is pretty unfortunate, but is obviously indicative of just the dramatic sell-off that we've seen with CLOV. Now, if we zoom in and sort of take a look at what the shorter term prospects might be, obviously this channel is long broken, but I'm going to leave it there for the time being because we saw this big impulsive move up earlier today. Now my question would be the extent to which that was starting to put pressure toward the lower bound of that channel that it recently left. We oftentimes see, as stocks leave the channel, that they make an effort to return back to them. Now, obviously, it would take quite solid ticks up in order for that to happen. I mean, this is nearing the $9 range. By the time we get to tomorrow, it's probably in the $9 range, so I don't know that it can make it, but I'm going to leave it there for the time being as a potential area of recovery. If we look at the extension levels here, the degree to which there was anything to this nice bump up this morning, if we take this first impulsive wave up and then the retracement that we've seen since then, these would be our extension levels to the upside on the 5-minute chart. So we see here it kind of consolidating around that 23.6 level. What I would be looking for is the 100 if it's going to be a true, or I might have said retracement, I meant extension. If it's going to be a true extension, I'd be looking for that 867 to get hit here in the coming days. So we'll see if that plays out, and if so, this might give us a nice opportunity to play a shorter term extension, goodness gracious, a shorter term fib extension on the 5-minute chart. On the indicator side of things, MACD curling back down, so some bearish pressure coming in. We could get a bearish crossover here. It looks like the bullish momentum has all but died down after a period of consolidation here. So big waves up and big waves down this morning, but still hanging out near the baseline. So if it can get a second wind or a second push on the bullish side of things, there's definitely a lot of room to run. That said, there's always been a lot of room to run to the downside on CLOV, so we'll just have to see. And testing the midline right now, so this is sort of the danger zone, in my opinion. Can it continue to hold this 50-ish area on the RSI? And if not, there's a good chance it's going to sell off, and come back closer to true oversold below 30. On the data side of things, we took a quick look at Swaggy. Do our check-in on ORTX. So ORTX here, oh yeah, there was this alert for a bullish option, unusual options activity that came through, and this is a pretty crazy one. This looks to me potentially like it came from Wall Street Bets, but I don't know for sure. I would have to go actually look at the comments, but the reasons that I'm thinking that are these came through just in a trade, so it wasn't like a sweep or anything like that. With these expirations in November, I don't exactly know why that would be. Maybe something post earnings. I haven't checked when earnings for CLOV are. We could do that as well. But this $15 strike is very out of the money, so that's where it feels very Wall Street Bets-ish. Volume of nearly 3,700 versus an open interest of just over 10K, so just an incredible amount of volume, very far out of the money. Not super long dated, but I often see the Wall Street Bets crowd buying closer in expirations. So that's the only thing that makes me kind of wonder, but maybe there's something about that date that I just am unaware of at the moment, and the fact that it came in as a trade. So we'll see if that drives any price action, but obviously folks need to be buying shares in order to actually increase the share price, where the calls, the extent to which market makers hedging to buy shares, if that impacts the price, that's one thing, but it's obviously another thing to have retail coming in and not just buying options contracts, but also the shares as well in order to push the volume up. That may be why this volume is so low, because that call volume is so high. Now, ORTX reporting down about 4% on the short interest change for the day, that bringing it to still almost 21% of the short interest percentage of the free floats, which is, of course, very high. Utilization remaining very high, a little over 80% of the shares available to lend being lent. On the dark pool side of things, I was looking for anything that came through last reporting week, which was July 5th, so getting into July dates now, and I'm not finding anything on the ATS or, I didn't realize that this was on a different thing here. Let's see if there was any in the non-ATS issue data for CLOV. So let's go weekly. We gotta go here. And CLOV. Anything? No. They're also showing nothing. Wait a minute. We got something here? No. Okay. Okay, so nothing for CLOV in the dark pools that was reported, at least, from about 3 weeks ago at this point. And of course, CLOV short interest still remaining very, very high. We'll see what happens in the days ahead. But that's what I'm looking at for the time being. hoping that there could be something to this extension, but we're obviously getting quite a bit of pushback at the moment on toward the end of the day here with these 5-minute candles. If not, then we'll take another look and look at some additional trend that could be developing. I'll actually put one more thing before we go here because I was looking at it earlier. There is potentially, because I think it's tested it about 3 times now, potentially a trend support line coming in right around here. So we need to watch that and see if that can hold it, especially if it dips down here toward the end of the day. Does it interact at all with this blue line? If not, then it's nothing. If so, then potentially we have an uptrend support line that's evolving that could help push and propel up through these extension zones. All right, well, I hope your trading week got off to a good start. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.